I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. You better get back here, Aria. I'm gonna get you. Oh no, you're so fast. I can never get you.
Daddy, I'm gonna get you.
Oh no. Oh no, we better run. Woo! Woo! Welcome to Papa in the Kitchen, guys. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make this delicious Caldo de Albondigas, also known as Mexican Meatball Soup, with some tortillas, perfect for a cold, chilly day. These are going to be delicious. Alright guys, so let's start with what you're going to need. You're going to need 2 zucchinis. I'm using the Mexican zucchini here. 1 chayote. 3 potatoes. I got 5 tomatoes here that I've gone ahead and taken the tops off of. I got 5 cloves of garlic. 1/2 white onion. 3 beef bouillon cubes. 4 tablespoons of white rice. Pepper. Salt, oregano, a little bit of cilantro we're going to use. This is my whole bundle, but we're going to just use a little bit. And same thing with the spearmint. We're going to use a little bit of spearmint for this also. And here I have 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of ground pork for my meatballs. So what we're going to do first is take this, happens. I just spilled water. Alright, so we're going to take our 4 tablespoons of rice, put it in some water, and I'm going to go ahead and boil that on the stove for about 7 minutes and just shut it off. We just want to parcook it. And our tomatoes, we're going to put those in a different pot. I'm going to cover those with water. And I'm going to put those on the stove also until they boil and then just shut it off. I just kind of want to blanch those. So I got my rice set. I'm just going to let it come to a boil and cook it for about 6-7 minutes and shut it off and drain it. And it'll be ready to use. And here I have my tomatoes. I'm just going to get those to a boil. Get them to where the skin starts to peel a little bit. And we're going to call those good, and then we'll use those for our sauce, and our rice is going to go into our meatballs. Guys, while our tomatoes and rice are getting ready, I'm going to go ahead and dice up our vegetables. I forgot to mention that I'm also using 2 sticks of celery and 2 carrots, and I'm going to be using 1 jalapeno quartered and de-seeded to give it a little bit of spice. But right now I'm going to go ahead and dice all these up. This is the vegetables that are going to go into our soup after we make our meatballs. I'm only going to be putting one of these in. The other one I'm going to shred and put into the meatballs. So let's go ahead and get these all diced up first while we wait on our rice and tomatoes. Alright guys, so I got all my vegetables chopped up here now. We're going to set those aside while this one just sits there and helps me. And these are all going to be going into our soup. Our tomatoes are done and our rice is done, so I'm going to go ahead and drain those and start the meatballs. Alright, so we're going to take our rice. It's parcooked. We're just going to go ahead and drain that and get that excess water out. Alright guys, so for my meatballs, I went ahead and put that rice into my meat mixture. I got 1/2 of an onion diced up. I'm going to throw that in there as well. I'm going to grate these 2 garlics and put that in there, as well as this squash, this zucchini squash. That's all going to be going in there, along with some of the spearmint, salt, pepper, and oregano. So let's start that. Gone ahead and grated my zucchini. Now that's going to go into the meatball mixture as well, with the onions and the rice. Here's my 2 garlic cloves grated. That's going to go in there also. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of eggs in here as well. Now here I got my spearmint. It's probably about 3 or 4 tablespoons. Once it's minced up, I'm going to go ahead and mince that up really fine and add that to my meatball mixture as well. There's my spearmint. I'm going to go ahead and add that in to my meatball mixture. Alright, we're going to add about a half a teaspoon of black pepper and about a half a teaspoon of salt. Add our oregano. Probably about a half a teaspoon also. Ground it up in my hand. And now we're going to mix this all together and form our meatballs. So I've gone ahead and mixed this really good. And I'm going to go ahead and form our meatballs. And I'm going to be shooting for about 4-ounce meatballs. So maybe about that much meat per meatball. So I'm going to go ahead and get my meatballs formed. And then we'll be moving to the stove. Alright guys, I got my meatballs formed. I'm going to go ahead and move over to the stove. And we'll start there now. Guys, here you see my tomatoes done. Skins are burst on them. That's perfect. We're going to put those in a blender. We're going to put those in there with about a quarter of an onion. And I'm going to add a little bit of this liquid from the tomatoes in there as well. As well as 3 onions. And we're going to go ahead and get that blended up. And this is going to be our sauce for the soup. Got a tablespoon or 2, about 2 tablespoons of olive oil here. And I'm going to go ahead and dump our tomato, onion, and garlic that we blended up earlier into that and get that going. And after we do that, we'll be able to start adding our meatballs into it. Guys, once it's cooked for just a few minutes, maybe 4 or 5 minutes, you'll start to see it froth up a little bit like this. I'm going to go ahead and drop in our beef bouillon. Got 3 cubes of beef bouillon in there. And we're going to add some water to it also. You can just use beef stock if you have it, or you can just use water with no bouillon if you need to. So we're going to go ahead and add some water to it. Now, I went ahead and added my jalapeno that was quartered and de-seeded, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more spearmint and some cilantro. Just give that broth some really good flavor. And then we're going to start dropping our meatballs in there. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and start dropping our meatballs in there. I've already dropped a couple in there, but you just drop them in there gently so they don't fall apart on you. Try and give them some space. And just make sure you get them all in there. So we're going to go ahead and drop all these in there. And then I'm going to let that cook for about 20 minutes. And then I'll start dropping in some of the vegetables. Alright guys, so after about 10-15 minutes of cooking, you can see your meatballs are formed. They're cooking in there. I'm going to go ahead and start dropping some of the vegetables in. We're going to go ahead and start with the celery and carrots. We're going to wait about 5 minutes, and then we're going to add the chayote and the potatoes. Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and add our chayote now. And our potatoes. Get those mixed in there nicely. 5 to 10 more minutes, and we're going to add our zucchini. We want to add the zucchini in last, basically when the potatoes are tender and the chayote is tender, because the zucchini you want really soft, and it only takes about 5 minutes to cook. So that's the last thing we're going to add in. Guys, last but not least, we're going to go ahead and add in our zucchini. Let me get that mixed in there again really well. Cook it for 5 minutes, shut it off, and you're all done. Alright guys, there you have it. Finished product. Of course with some tortillas on the side. This is going to be delicious. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think. If you have any ideas of what I should cook, let me know.